Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a bit about how to use Readwise effectively both in Obsidian and Logseq. As you may know, Logseq Readwise integration is about to arrive. Readwise is working on it. But until the official Logseq Readwise plugin is launched, I think updating your graph through Obsidian is the best way to go. If as a Logseq user you are already pulling in your Readwise highlights through Obsidian, some tips or tweaks in this video might be of interest to you. Similarly, if you are just an Obsidian user, these tips and tweaks might be of interest to you as well. I will show how I capture the highlights and how I keep track of nodes to be processed. So let's get started. So first let's head to the Readwise Obsidian export page. Here, as you know, you can, let me just fit this in, yes. As you can see in the export settings, there are many different changes that can be made. Like, for example, you can format your title, you can format the metadata, the highlights header, and even the YAML actually. Why I went into detail in this Obsidian export page is because when I was exporting from Readwise to Obsidian and to Logseq, all the highlights were coming only in the day that I made the synchronization. So I wanted to capture the date that it was captured, not the date that I synced. So normally, if you don't change the settings here, let me see here in the page metadata, you will get the date that is being synced on. If you sync every day and you take highlights every day, so it might not be an issue, but for me it was important to capture the day that it was highlighted on. And so how can we do this? Let me quickly. So if you look at your own, if you haven't changed this, if you look at your own Obsidian export page on the Readwise, you will see that this is not formatted as such. So what this does is that it brings the highlighted date or the date that you wanted Readwise to capture, and then it takes it into the format that I'm using in my Obsidian and Logseq graphs. And as you can see, I have added two brackets here, which make sure that this is linked to the daily journal of that certain date. So this was important for me. Another thing that I changed here is the title part. Why did I change it? Because normally Readwise is truncating or shortening the titles and was putting 3 dots at the end. But sometimes this created problems for Logseq to read the files. So when I was discussing in the Discord forums about how to solve this, I was very happy to get help from Alex, and he told me that these 3 dots were the problem. So I changed the title to truncate and replace the 3 dots with a blank. As you can see, there's a blank in between these two columns here, 2 apostrophes, sorry. So this makes sure that whenever I receive the file name does not have any character at the end of the file name. So these were the 2 major important things that I changed, and I will show you how they show up in the Obsidian and Logseq simultaneously. Another thing that I changed was the 2 semicolons that you will see here, especially with the properties, the author, the date, the title, etc. Why did I do that? There was 2 reasons. One is that the Dataview plugin, if you are using the Dataview plugin in Obsidian, uses these two columns to find the data, or it will understand that this is a property. And the same goes for Logseq. So, but initially in this readwise format, these are only one column, sorry. And so you should use two back to back like that. And then the Dataview plugin can pick it up easily. The Dataview plugin can also work from the YAML without the two dots, without the single column. So you can add also to the YAML side of things, especially for Obsidian, if you prefer that. If you don't want to see these properties on the page, you can take them out and put them here. But since this video is about how to use Logseq and Obsidian together with Readwise and how to use it simultaneously, this is why I'm preferring it this way. So let's see how, when I sync, how these end up in Obsidian and in Logseq. So if I go to Obsidian, so if I go to the today's daily journal, which is already open here, at the bottom, as you can see, when I synced this today, just before the video, it has brought me what I had highlighted today, which is the 24th of April. But the good thing about this way of doing it is when I click on the Readwise syncs, you see I have a page that shows all the Readwise syncs that I have made. And you see this part is from prior to when I made the change. So after I made the change, all the highlights are coming in day by day. So for example, if you go to a certain date, let's say 11th of April, I can see that I have synced from a podcast. Let's see what it is. So you see I have, and this is how it comes down here. You see with the two columns. And so how do I use this in the data view to make sure that I capture it properly? I keep track of my highlights properly. Is that, let me go here, and so you see I have been when I was tagging the readwise capture, I was putting in the two process. Let me go back to that. I think I forgot to mention that. So you see I have added here status to process. So immediately when I get the sync, all the highlights are tagged with to process. So what does this ensure? This ensures that these all end up in this data view. So I know exactly what I need to process. So if you look at the data view, how I formulated this, and I will copy paste these in the video description if you want to use them. This part is very straightforward. So I'm asking Obsidian to make a table with date named as a date and author as an author, and I'm telling it to bring all the two processes from read and Readwise, but exclude Logseq. Why am I excluding Logseq? Because as you may see, when you use Obsidian and Logseq in sync, you get some of the Logseq creates a BA key folder with the backups, and so when you don't exclude it as such, Obsidian unfortunately brings the same pages again. So this just inflates and populates your data view. You know, it just messes it up. So, and as you may have maybe not in the last update in Obsidian, actually you can ignore folders, But this is only relevant for searching function in Obsidian. It doesn't apply to the data view part of things. So first, I tried to use that, but it didn't work. And as you all know, the community is very helpful, and I was able to understand that the data view doesn't ignore what Obsidian ignores in the new release. So you have to make sure that, so here what I'm telling the data view is to ignore the Logseq folder altogether here. So now this ensures that I don't have any doubles. So if I'm using Obsidian, this is the way that I can keep track. And if you are using Logseq, then you have to make a query. Let me. So these are the formulas that I will also put the formats that I have just shown you in the Readwise Obsidian export page. So these will be in the video description if you want to use them easily as a copy paste. And let's go to the query page. So this was the Obsidian page for the data view. So we won't go there, but so if I go to the query page and same as highlights to process, I think my computer is a bit slow today. Yes, here it is. So here, as you can see, I have just made a very simple query, not anything very complicated. I will show you how it is formulated. If my computer, yes, here. So I'm just saying property status to process. So I'm just telling Logseq to bring in all the pages that have to process with the status to process. And the way that I was able to do this is that since I put the two columns side by side, you see it's now bringing everything as a to process. And I have chosen to do it as a table view. You can do it as a normal view as well. Since there's a lot of highlights in this demo page, it takes some time. See, you can have it in this view or in a table view, and you can also play around with the columns, you know, tweak around however you like, which ones. And if you want to sort by date, don't forget that whichever columns you click, Logseq will sort according to that column, as you can see. So let's go back and okay, I think I was able to cover what I wanted to cover today. Thank you very much for listening, and have a nice day, and hopefully I will have more videos soon in the coming days. Thank you very much.